There was at one time $1 billion of collateral missing from the backing of one major stablecoin. Which one? And also, what's happening in more developments with the digital currency group, Genesis, Gemini, accusations flying, etc. If you guys want to know what we're doing with our cryptocurrencies and which stablecoins we are holding and why, you got to check out our CT Club. And also, most importantly, when we're going to be deploying that dry powder to invest in which cryptocurrencies to be best prepared as best as we can for the next bull run coming up. You got to check out the CT Club. Link for that, again, is down below in the video description. So right off the bat, no cliffhangers here. We're going to talk about the stablecoin situation. Binance and BUSD, they have acknowledged that at one point in time, due to mismanagement of their stablecoin tool, at one time there was $1 billion missing from their collateral. That is a big number. This is coming from Dylan LeClaire on Twitter. There's no specification as to at what point in time this $1 billion were missing, and also furthermore, how this has been changed, hopefully, since then. But Binance, is being investigated apparently by all sorts of entities around the world. So. Also, furthermore, Binance has also been approved by a court to ultimately acquire Voyager if they wanted to go ahead and commit to that purchase. So that's good news for Voyager. It's also, I think, a signal as to Binance has gotten its stuff together. BUSD isn't a super old stablecoin. Furthermore, Binance has, it's pretty young in itself as well. So perhaps this history of $1 billion missing isn't as far back in the history as we might like, but the regulations coming for platforms like centralized exchanges, funny moves like this, audits are going to be a heavy requirement, I think. And this ability to mysteriously or advantageously use $1 billion of collateral here and there to make investments or do whatever they see fit for it, I think those opportunities are quickly becoming in the past for centralized exchanges. So actually, these regulations and probably the requirement for these audits, especially with stablecoins, those are by far much more heavily under fire from governments because of their competition with fiat, because they're backed by fiat. When other bear markets come to play and these exchanges and other stablecoin providers can't mysteriously be moving their collateral here and there, they might crash and burn sooner rather than later. So that might actually be a good thing from regulations. You're not going to hear that coming out of my mouth very often. If not, maybe that's the only time, so enjoy it, guys. Otherwise, really not a fan of regulation coming from centralized entities. Much more a fan of the free market flushing out failing projects and fraudsters and scammers. Speaking of, there's been some accusations from Gemini because they put $900 million of their user funds onto Genesis, which is owned by Digital Currency Group. So Gemini and its owners, the Winklevoss twins, are pissed off. They're flat out saying that their users, their Gemini Earn customers, were defrauded by Genesis. Barry Silbert, very recently, a few 10 hours ago, he tweeted his thoughts on what's been happening, his outlook for 2023, defending his character a little bit. There's a Q&A also involved in this tweet. I'll link it down below in the video description for those who are interested. There's a Q&A that he lines out his opinion of the relationship between DCG, the companies that they've invested in, their subsidiaries, Genesis exposure to FTX, its exposure to Three Arrows Capital. Interestingly, Barry flat out denies that Genesis or that Digital Currency Group is being investigated at all by New York regulators or the District of New York, the Eastern District of New York, more specifically. So that's interesting that that denial is coming out. We're gonna find out the truth sooner or later. But basically, Barry is saying he's disappointed because he's been around for so long. He's helped develop one of the largest cryptocurrency media companies, CoinDesk, the largest cryptocurrency lending firm, Genesis. You know, they have Grayscale, they have a Bitcoin mining company as well. They have a lot of very successful companies that they've helped develop through their investments. And he's like, come on, guys, I've been around for so long. I'm not a scammer. You guys, anyone could be a scammer. Anyone, especially who has a lot of hubris, anyone can be influenced by greed, can take advantage of their reputation and, you know, be their last shebang before they end up in the sky like Sam Bankman-Fried and a lot of other people who have crashed and burned in this cryptocurrency space. So don't have too much faith in any one person. Always do your own research, decentralize your investments. Speaking of investments, also, before I get into that, hit like and subscribe if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Speaking of investments, Bob Lucas on Twitter, take it or leave it. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. He thinks that everything that's happening with Digital Currency Group and Genesis has already been priced in. Yes, sometimes news coming out about the developments of it might minorly affect the market, if any, but generally he thinks it's all priced in. Furthermore, the creditors of Genesis were offered from Digital Currency Group to basically accept an offer of 70% of what they had given to Genesis, in return some kind of closure in the situation. Again, Genesis has not filed for bankruptcy yet. They are halting withdrawals on their lending platform, and those who have lent or deposited coins onto Genesis are trying to get their money back, and now they're being offered 70% of what they had deposited, and it's been rejected. So still trying to find, you know, some closure here, but nothing yet. So who knows what's gonna happen? I'll keep you posted as best as we can, but we put out videos every single day. And like I just said, if you enjoy that, I certainly appreciate it if you hit like and hit subscribe for your daily fix of all things crypto. Bye guys.